G'day everybody, it's Master Yoda here and I hope you guys are all doing well. The title of today's video is, do your parents know that you're an Inkwell, and have they been critical of you or supportive of you? Speaking for myself, I didn't really discuss it with my late father, may he rest in peace. When I was 16, which would have been back in around 1985, he came down with cancer, which he battled for 7 years, and where he eventually lost his battle with it in 1992 and he passed away. Once he may rest in peace. So I didn't really discuss it with him because obviously myself and my mother were taking care of him. So I discussed it more with my mother. Initially she was a little bit critical of me. She goes, "Oh, son, why don't you go out more and try and meet women?" Well, I did, and didn't have any success because of my sub 3 looks. But that's my life, and that's just my tough luck, and yeah, and it's life. What can you do? And once again, I don't hate women because absolutely not. End of the day, they want the best genetics for any offspring they may want to have with a particular man. Not going to happen with me. I'm cool with that. That's life and my tough luck. I definitely do not hate women. Absolutely not. But so I mainly discussed it with my mum, and initially she was a little bit critical of it, but no, she's to be fair, she's been great about it. She's been very, very supportive, and even she often tells me, she goes, "Look, son, you're better off alone rather than being in a toxic relationship with someone who's going to hurt you." And she's right. I think we all know that the late Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, the very famous American actor and comedian, I remember he made this great quote. He said, "You're better off being alone rather than being in a relationship with someone who makes you feel that you're alone." And I think that's very true, incredibly true. I have a close friend of mine who came out of a 22-year marriage, and then he went from that straight into a relationship with a single mother. He's just breaking up with her now. He'd been dating the single mother for just over 3.5 years. And because the single mother would often disrespect him. I mean, she's not a bad person per se, but I think she may have mental issues. But regardless, she would often disrespect my friend, my close friend, and in the end, he just had enough. He said, "No, look, this isn't working out," and he broke up with her. I mean, he was nice about it, but he just said, "Look, this isn't working out, and I wish you the best," and walked away. He probably should have broken up with her much years ago, and I told him he should have, because what happened was about 3 years or so ago, she embarrassed him in front of her friends. You don't do that. If you've got a problem with someone, you pull them aside privately and discuss whatever issue you have with that person. You don't embarrass them in front of your friends. But my friend kept going out with her, and eventually, no, the disrespect. She just wouldn't stop disrespecting him, and in the end, he got out. So and he had to, because that relationship was becoming very toxic. So, but I digress. But getting back to the topic, my mum has been terrific. She's been very supportive. Once again, my father didn't really discuss it with him because poor guy was battling cancer, and but I mainly discussed it with my mother, and no, she understands that modern women, these days are pretty hard to date. They have very high standards, and even my mother, she's very critical of modern women. Now, once again, I'm not saying that all women are bad. They're not. There are good, decent women out there, but there are a lot of toxic ones as well. A lot of very bad ones as well. And even my mother is appalled at the behaviour of the modern female. She says she calls them. I can't say the word on YouTube because I'll get in trouble. She often calls them the W word, and I think you know what I'm referring to. They sleep around too much. They're basically insufferable, and they're basically unfit for relationships and motherhood. And a lot of modern women are. They're just insufferable. And that's why a lot of men are just giving up on dating, because modern women these days, I don't know what's wrong with them. But once again, no, I'm not saying all women are bad. No, absolutely not. But there are good women out there. But a lot of modern women, they're bad news. and you can see why more and more men are giving up on dating. And once again, that's a personal choice, because yeah, a lot of modern women are they're insufferable, and they're just very toxic, and they're just not nice people to be around. But with me, yeah, no, my mum's been pretty. She's been supportive. She's been great. I mean, she often says to me, "Son, I'd love to see you, happily married or with a girlfriend in a loving relationship. But you're better off the way you are, rather than dating or marrying some woman who's just going to hurt you." And she's right. She's bang on the money. Bang on the money. My mother knows that I also pay to play, and she's totally supportive of it, because although she was raised as a strict Catholic and she has very conservative views on sexuality, particularly female sexuality. Like my mother, she was a virgin and until she married my father, and my father's been her one and only sexual partner. Like after my father passed away, once again, may he rest in peace, she did not remarry or get into a relationship with other men. No, that's it. My father was her one and only sexual partner, because when my mum was growing up, she was raised in as a strict Catholic. But the good thing the good thing about my mum is, although she's you know although she was raised as a strict Catholic, at the same time too, she doesn't demonise male sexuality. She understands it. She understands, as a man, you have needs, and one of those needs is to have sex with women, to be with women, and and she knows that. She knows that I pay to play, and she's totally supportive of it. She goes, "Yeah, look, you're a man. You got to do what you got to do. Obviously, she'd prefer to see me in a loving relationship with a woman, either married or as with that woman as my girlfriend. Of course, I think all mothers would want that for their sons. But she knows that my sub 3 looks wrote me off at the dating game, and she knows that's not my fault, and she supports me paying to play. And she actually often says to me, "Son, you're probably better off doing that." Yeah. Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention. Well, I think your parents probably know that you're an Inkwell, because if you're not bringing your girls home to introduce to them, they've pretty much worked it out. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say on the topic. Look, if you'd like to leave your comments in the comment section as to how have your parents been critical of your Inkwell status, and or have they been supportive of you? Anyway, guys, thanks very much for listening to my video. If you'd like to leave your likes, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. You guys have a great day. Bye for now.